great to see so many new and familiar faces. It's funny, I only started working with SVIVAH in December and already I'm like, I recognize you. I'm so glad you're here. It's good to see everybody here. So we'll get started. My name is Jordan. I'm the director of community at SVIVAH. I'm coming to you outside of Gainesville, Florida. And I wanted to say it is so nice to be together with community today. We were talking a little bit before we got started about how hard this weekend has been and just sort of been glued to the news and seeing what's happening coming out of Texas and thinking about our own experiences if we had them as campers and as counselors or as parents or aunts or cousins of campers and there now. And it's just, I'm really glad that we're having this chance to come together and do some grounding today. As we're waiting for everyone to come in, go ahead and grab a drink, a warm drink or a cold drink, something to write on, something to write with, and just a few words about SVIVAH. SVIVAH is revolutionizing how Jewish women come together across generations, across denominations, across geography. And we're so glad that we can come together virtually and start our week each week right now with Ogen and with Naama. Then, like I said, I'm so happy that we're all here. If you haven't been here before, that's okay. We'll catch you up. If you're returning from last week or the week before, it's so great to have you here. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Naama, our teacher.
Thank you, Jordan, and good morning, everyone. I'm calling from Berkeley, California, here in the West Coast. We're just starting the day, starting the week. Yeah, and I guess, actually, Jordan, do you mind for just a second to take me off the spotlight and have everybody see everyone? Uh, I guess I'm just inviting us for a moment. I mean, if you can turn on your video, if it works for you, if not, no worries, but just to look around all the faces. There's something really special when women come together, just to be together. This is a community that might not feel very geographically close. We don't know where everybody is. I mean, if you read the chat, you probably know more. But like there is a community of people here who are standing together. And I feel like the strength of it every time. And it's even surprising that it can happen virtually. Yesterday, I went to a women's retreat here in California, and just like sitting in the room, kind of like cooking together and moving around and doing whatever it is that we did. I was like, there is this something that we know, I think, in our body, that used to just exist for such a long time, and we live in a different society where we don't have this like bathhouse that we go to together on Friday or in the evening, and we don't sit together to just, go through the rice. But we can get together to give each other grounding and feel each other's heartbeat, and that's what we're doing here. And thank you, SVIVAH, for holding that space for us. Um, so, Jordan, I guess you can put me back, and we're going to start our learning. We're coming together every Monday morning or the beginning of the week, wherever you are, to transition together into the week. And we call this time Ogen. Ogen means in Hebrew anchor. And I'm just repeating what I say every week when we start, that there's a very stormy water at the moment, and maybe there's very stormy water all the time. And what we're doing is we're creating some resilience in ourselves. And that resilience and that warmth that we are creating in ourselves is rippling to other people. And the way we do it is by doing very small actions, which we call anchors, oganim. And we throw like a little anchor every Monday, and in the hopes that it will create a network under us that will stabilize us as things are moving. But that there will be a network that holds our little boat on the stormy water. And another image that I love is the image of my beautiful beans outside here, sending their shoots up. So if you prefer to be on land, you can think of like every Monday another shoot, just one sentence that holds me to this like that I'm sending up and is gonna give me one hold, and then I'm sending another one, and then it creates slowly like this green sanctuary. It's beautiful. You can walk in, it's like a full place, so creative, so productive, so beautiful, and we're setting the conditions for that, Be'ezrat Hashem, as much as we can. So every week we learn together one sentence, um, and from our old books. And these sentences, hopefully, these words and the energy of the word and the energy that we are putting into the word, that we're loading the word with, um, is going to be our anchor for the week. And last week, if you remember, if you were here, we spoke about the words Yehi O, let there be light. And we spoke about what happens when you softly start creating something, right? When God says, Yehi O, let there be light. Can we start something from this chaos? Can we at least just make a little bit of a pushing, dividing things around so that we know what's going on? And then a whole thing grows out of it, a whole world. So just to hold to that Yehi O was our anchor last week. Um, and this week, I want to offer again a sentence that is very dear to me from the book of creation, that ancient book, the first book of Kabbalah, the first book of Jewish mysticism. Um, Very old book, very cryptic book, a book that is like sounds like poetry, very short book. Um, and I'm going to read a little bit of a longer stretch of what I'm used to, but I'm going to give only one sentence. So, in order to do that, let's start with just making space for these words. So, we're going to start the way we always do by just taking a minute or two to journal. What's going on for me today? What's moving in me? What's happening inside? If there's a lot of storm inside, maybe I want to just write it on the paper so that I can get it outside of me and make space for the words. If there's not storm inside, just pay attention. What's going on inside? Well, how does it feel when things are calm and in place? And if you want something to think about, I'm inviting you to start thinking about what does it mean for me to be flexible inside? What does it mean for me to be flexible inside? Um, So again, either what's moving in me, what's going on. If there's a lot going on, just maybe technical writing to just get it out. And if not, just paying attention, what does it feel like? The calm. Or if I want to think about what does flexibility mean to me? What does it mean for me to be flexible inside? And I'll call us back in about a minute. Okay, so let's take a few more seconds to just wrap up. And thank you, Shoshana, for starting us already in the chat. But if you're willing to send some words in the chat about what flexibility means to you, would love to see it. So we already have here water, noodle, adaptable, soft, gentle, loose, ready, stretchy. Okay, what's moving in me can be also sense of alone, abundant, flexibility, I'm assuming, or maybe, okay, I don't know. People put all kinds of things. Slow, scary. Okay, great, great. So here's the sentence from the book of creation. And these words stay with us so many years because they have something to give us. Otherwise, they're disappearing. There's a lot of word that disappeared. The book of creation remained. And here's the full paragraph, and I'm gonna repeat only the sentence that we're gonna work with. Stop your mouth from speaking. Stop your heart from murmuring. And if your heart runs, return to the place. For scripture says, running and returning. Regarding this matter, a covenant was made. Stop your mouth from speaking. Stop your heart from murmuring. And if your heart runs, return to the place. For scripture says, running and returning. Regarding this matter, a covenant was made. Beautiful poetry. And that's from like the 3rd century, still with us. And in Hebrew, it would say, Ve'imratz libcha shuv lamakom. So beautiful. It's like, I love this sentence. And if your heart runs, return to the place. This is our sentence for the week. And if your heart runs, return to the place. Ve'imratz libcha shuv lamakom. So beautiful, really. I just feel like that's it. We're done. We can go home. The sentence is enough. Nothing needs to be added. And if your heart runs, return to the place. Like ancient meditation. Look at this. If your heart runs, return to the place. What does it even mean? So, be'imratz libcha shuv lamakom. So, I now walk with my son in the house, and when he like, plays with his toys, I say to him, Odeya, sim lamakom, sim lamakom. Put it back in its place. Okay, so I feel like this word is like you can use it in a very kind of like ordinary way, right? Put it back into the place, return to the place. But the makom in Hebrew is also a word for God. Hamakom yirach. If you sing Achenu, Hamakom yirachem alehem. The makom should be have mercy on these people who need compassion, right? Hamakom is a name for God because there is something I think so deep about knowing that you have a place. It's like you have a home. God is a place to come back to. God in the book of creation is also embodied, like it's embodied. Like if you feel your body and you feel right now your sitting bones and you feel the place, the book of creation says it's all created through divine energy. So just return to the place. And if your heart runs, return to the place. What's really interesting for me and why I see it as an anchor is like, okay, there's the very basic, clear layer here, right? If your heart runs, if your heart kind of like runs with thoughts, just return to the place, return to the body. Just like take a breath. Sometimes our heart runs so much, there's so much storm in there, we might be really afraid. We hear news that are really tough. What can we do? We can come back to the body for just a moment. And we can remember that our body is also an extension of God, that we are sitting in a place. That by itself is like, wow. We can also remember that we are a place for others. Right? We create places. I think the first anchor we did in this wave of Ogen was V'hashev yotzer lemechono, right? And return the creator to their place. So there's the work of like place creating, like, right? We are creating places. We are creating a nice home for ourselves. We're washing the dishes. We're maybe creating nice home for other people if there's other people living with us. That we are always tending. We're tending to a place, and that's a holy work. And if your heart runs, return to the place. Return to the place. Return to the small actions and to the body and to the embodied. But there's also another layer, and I think this is a very strong layer, especially for women, and that is in the Hebrew, ve'imratz libcha, shuv lamakom, and then they're quoting this pasuk, this verse from the Bible that says, ratzo vashov, that says that the angels are running and returning. This is the way that they're running and returning all the time. Ratzo vashov. And it mentions that this matter was where the covenant was made. And you might ask yourself, like, what's going on here? with all that movement and the covenant that is being made for that movement. So something that I feel really strongly is that life is made by two movements, contraction and release. Kivutz v'harpaya. I think whoever had the privilege of giving birth feels it very strongly with the womb, but even every month, right, we feel that kind of like contraction and release, but it's not even just unique to the womb. Just think of our breath, right? We all the time breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. The heart, everything that is alive is made from these movements, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. The flexibility and transition between these movements is the thing that allows for life. Yet sometimes we feel so afraid that we want to just keep one movement. So we just want to breathe. We don't want to breathe out. We don't know what's going to happen if we breathe out. But the thing is, we have to, right? We have to breathe in and out. But in our emotional life, sometimes we think that we can just hold one direction. If we'll just contract strong enough, things will be okay. We'll keep things okay. So here comes Sefer Yetzirah, here comes the book of creation and says, and if your heart runs, it's not a problem. Return to the place. It's not that the fact that your heart runs is a problem. This is one side of life. The heart runs, and then you return to the place. The heart runs, and then you return to the place. It's almost an instruction that is not a meditation to calm the heart, but maybe a meditation about how to go through life. To expect that the heart will run, as it should, and that there will be the knowledge of returning to place. So it really reminded me of two Yemima quotes that I love very much, and I just wanted to share them in this context. But again, I'm not giving them as sentences because we're only giving one sentence in Ogen so that we can actually remember it through the week. So our sentence for the week is, and if your heart runs, return to the place. If your heart runs, return to the place. This is our route. This is our shoot. This is what we're walking with this week. But just as an interpretation to this sentence, I'm giving these two, Yemima lived in the 20th century. So that's many centuries after the Book of Creation. But I think in a way she interprets the Book of Creation so beautifully because the soul and the emotions are probably the same for all these centuries. And we deal with new situations in reality all the time, but our inner life, I think, have still similar mechanisms. So she says, every too much indicates too little. Every exaggeration rests on an inner lack. And the scale is in your hands. To balance and balance again is the goal of growth. This is Yemima from the 90s, the 1990s. I find that one also like just so helpful for anchoring. Every too much indicates too little. If I'm getting really pissed at someone, it means that something is also too little. Maybe my patience, maybe a sense of self worth, maybe a sense of safety. If there's too much, if I'm feeling like too much of something, it indicates that there's too little of something. So when I'm able to pay attention after the fact, of course, we're not running away against omis. And these terms that I'm using are from Yemima, and we can always reshare our intro to Yemima, but like we're not running against our burdens. We respect them, but they can teach us that if there's too much, it indicates too little. And everything that feels very exaggerated, it rests on a sense of inner lack of something. The good news is, Yemima says, the scale is in your hands, and that the very natural work is to balance, and balance, again, is the goal of growth. I think in that regard, again, I'm going back to our little community here, right? And the faces here on the screen, and we're going to share in a moment in the chat, just that, like, I think the coming together, okay, like, again and again, right, also gives us the opportunity to remember that we keep learning again and again. And that's not a problem. It's not that we were supposed to stop learning when we were 20, have all the answers, and then just go over to life. Just life keeps bringing to us things that open our hearts, break our hearts, and we keep working with that. And that's the emotional spiritual work. And to come together with other women is a place I feel that is just very helpful to remember, oh, okay. I mean, we're just doing the work. I mean, yeah, I cleaned the kitchen. Yeah, it got, dirty again. Yeah, I finished my paperwork. Then I need to do it again. Oh my gosh, I need to do taxes again. How is it possible? It's like just, the repetitiveness that requires the cleaning that builds the culture that we want to live in, that builds the kind of like relationships that we want to have, that builds what we want to anchor around us. The more we repeat, the more it's anchored. So that's one sentence from her. And the other one that I just really needed this week, and maybe will be needed for other people, is she's saying in a different place, pain is the raft that transfers you from one river bank to the other. The chariot of mending occasionally stops in stations loaded with pain. Descend, breathe until you can get back on. So Yemima also says, like, as you're going through the way, the chariot of your life, of your soul, your body, right? As you're going through life, you meet all kinds of things and you respond to these things and you document these things and you work with these things, and that's becoming the story of your life. And there will be moments where you stop in stations loaded with pain, and that's normal, and your heart runs, and then you need to return to place. So you're descending, you're breathing, and you're waiting until you can get back. But you know that to balance and balance again is the goal of growth. So you know that there will be always the kind of like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I guess my thought for today that I want to leave us with, and now I want to hear your voices, but like the roots and shoots that I'm offering for us to send deep down or deep up is this thing called sometimes in Hebrew chosen, resilience in English, which doesn't mean standing very strong and very still, but the ability to be back and forth, to contract and release, to let your heart run and return to the place. And if your heart runs, return to the place. And now I'm asking you, um, what do you want to take for your week? And if your heart runs, return to the place, what does it mean for you for this week? So we're using the chat as a way to kind of like declare or like put our words out there so that we commit to them and that they'll be seen by others, maybe resonate with others, but would love to see your words. Um, and thank you. Stop and breathe. Take a chance. Right, right, right. The other part of flexibility is to allow yourself to also run your heart, not to just return to place, right? To also have the courage to pay attention to fear and desire and move between them so that courage can come out. Okay. So with that, please keep populating the chat, but we're going to move to 10 minutes of open house. So I don't, Ariella, are you in charge now? Yeah, great. Okay. So yeah, so we're here and would love to hear if someone wants to share their insight out loud or if there are
Great.
questions. Wonderful. So everybody should have a good week, a week with back and forth. When your heart runs, return to the place. And we will see you here next week on Monday at 9 a.m. to anchor together again. And Ariella, is there anything else we want to add?
Just a giant thank you to you, to Jordan, and to everybody for just starting the week off on such a. I'm holding on to this whole idea of, I love that elasticity and stretching your elastic too far. That image was very powerful. And I feel like our coming together is pulling, at least for me, it's pulling me back into my place and giving me strength to walk into whatever this week is. And next Monday can't come soon enough. So if anybody also, I'm just going to remind everyone, if anyone is not in the Ogen WhatsApp group, the link is in the chat. I'll put it there again, just to stay connected with each other. And that is a place for us also during the week. So thank you all for being here. I'm so grateful to everyone. And thank you so much, Jordan.